Hey, what's up? You rocking with the one and only D-Man. Yeah. And I'm here with...
Scott Lesak.
What's up, my man?
What's up, man?
I'm good, chilling. This man right here is an amazing man. Awesome man. I'm gonna give you a backdrop before I get into this with this man right here. I met a man named Jeff. I was in DC. He was in DC. And I was just going out here chasing my dreams like I tell you to do every day. And I just met Jeff. We had a great conversation. I interviewed him. And the next thing you know, I receive a follow from this man on Instagram. So I'm just like, who's this? DMs me. We had a conversation. We had a call. It was great. Ever since then, we stayed in contact. And now we're here. Awesome man, has his own business, does a whole lot of motivational things, talks, goes out here. But I'm ruining the interview, man. Please tell us more about you.
Oh, man, you just killed it. I'm done, I guess. I don't have to tell you anything. So I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. I have a couple different ventures, some real estate investment, a landscape company is where my roots are,
Nice.
and a company called Inspire You, which is all about inspiring you, man. And
Like
we
that.
do motivational leadership training for businesses. It's awesome, man. My mission in life is really simple, to elevate humanity. And I do that any way I can, any avenue I can. I also have those exact same microphones for when I do interviews on a cell phone like this, man.
That's amazing. I like that. See, you said something that stood out to me. You said something about that entrepreneurial mindset, that heart to be an entrepreneur. Like, where did that come from for you?
I just always was motivated to kind of dance to the tune of my own drummer, man. I didn't like following what other people did. I didn't want to do what other people told me I should do. I wanted to do what made me happy. And I've had ups and downs. I've been a firefighter, had some post-traumatic things happen through firefighting. So I went through a lot of really hard things in my life to get over it. And I want to help other people get over anything that they're going through. But being an entrepreneur is just awesome. It takes everything away from the normal. We go to school. You're always told, get good grades, go to college, get good grades in college, graduate, get a good job, contribute to a 401k, and retire. That's what we're taught. But the reality is that's working for money. That's being a slave to society. That's being a slave to what everybody tells you to do. Being an entrepreneur, you don't work for money. You make money work for you. You create things. You give back to other people. You help people grow. You inspire teams. And that's one of the most rewarding things I have with my landscape company. We have a team of currently 15 people and growing that is just getting inspired and changing their lives and watching them grow and watching more people come in and be attracted to us. That's what it's all about.
I love that, man. Sheesh, I feel like I should give you the microphone to interview me now. This man is over here just dropping gems. I love it, man. So you said you have a team of 15 wonderful people, man. Being a leader, how do you migrate through working with different personalities, different people, and still finding a way to get everybody to come together to get the job done?
That's a great question. Leadership is all about motivation. Leadership is about empowerment of the people. You want to let your people make mistakes. You want to let them be free to be themselves. You don't want to control what they're doing. People get caught up in managing people. You can't manage people. You got to manage systems and processes in a business. That'll take care of your financials, your numbers. You got to lead the people. You need to make sure that they feel comfortable to make mistakes. They feel comfortable to innovate. And if it doesn't go well, help them pick up the pieces on their way back up. That's the key to leadership. And empowerment leads to innovation. Accepting the mistakes somebody else is going to make leads to that innovation, and it leads to happy people that stick around. We have a 94% retention rate for the past 2 years in this company right now. People don't leave. They just love working here. And anybody that has left hasn't been because of the company. It's been because of personal reasons or chasing another dream. So
I love that, man. As you were showing me around, I seen that it's very family oriented, and you definitely give that family-like vibe that's very soothing and comfortable. Where did you learn to develop that skill or just have that being a part of you as a person?
I grew up with a great family, really tight family, grandparents involved, aunts and uncles involved. I had multiple fathers growing up, including my own. My one uncle taught me how to hunt. Both of my uncles and my grandfather taught me how to fish. My grandfather was an entrepreneur himself, not on the level of having employees, but he had a barber shop and knew how to run business and knew how to communicate with people. A lot of my communications skills came from what he drilled into me as a kid. Be polite, be courteous, listen more than you're talking, engage with people on what they want to talk about. And all those principles came from my grandfather. My dad, he's also an entrepreneur. He had a consulting company. He spent years in the fire department doing terrorism response training, incident command training, hazmat training, worked his way up into terrorism response for FBI State Department, things like that. And he always drove into me doing things very well and always asking the question why. When I was younger, it drove me nuts. My dad would, well, why are you doing that? Why? It's like, I don't know, because we're doing this. And I didn't have the answers. But that question of why led me to always asking the question why or how. There is no I can't. I can't doesn't belong in my vocabulary. It's how can I? Why am I? And those are the words that have been ingrained into me from my father. And he was part of the landscape company at the beginning too. And he really helped us build up what we had. And we had visions of being a much smaller company than we are today. So he helped us get to a certain point, and then we built a team around it to get us to where we are today.
I love that, man. Shout out to your dad. Yeah.
That's my favorite part, man. The team is
yeah. All right, man. I like that. So my next question for you is, doing landscaping, where did the drive come to want to motivate people and create, inspire you, and give back to your world?
From the landscaping. I mean, the landscape drive came from, I know you can't see it on the camera, but that front yard across the street where we're looking at, it's the first landscape project I was ever involved with. My dad did that when I was 14. I helped him with it, and it was really cool to watch something that didn't look good become something that looked way worse when it was all dug up to a masterpiece at the end. I love that. That's what got me into landscaping. And through the years, through my career, nothing's changed. I love taking things that are rough around the edges and needing to polish them and make them masterpieces. But what has changed is what I polish. It grew into, instead of building beautiful patios and beautiful landscapes, to building a beautiful company culture, building beautiful people within that culture and helping them grow into the best potential they could be. That was all from the landscape side. Again, taking something and building it from the original passion that I had for the industry. Then I really saw how I could help people. I went through a rough time of drinking way too much. I'm an alcoholic. I've been sober for a little over 4 years now. Nice. I had to go to rehab to get sober. So that time frame, I was always into helping people before that, but that shifted everything. And I got to the point that I went through so much to get better, and I had so many people help me get better, I wanted to give back. And then it all started taking off from there. And I realized I have some really killer life experiences. I'm 35 years old, and I have more life experiences than people I talk to in their 60s and 70s from certain things that I've been through. And I want to give that back to everybody. I want to give that back to as many people as I can. God gave me the gift of having these experiences. God gave me the gift of learning the skills to get around them. I got to give that back to other people. That's selfish if I keep it for myself.
Right. I love it, man. I've noticed something about you, Scott, and I'm going to have to tell the people, man. I've noticed something about you. I noticed that you're a man of opportunity. I feel like you like to give people opportunities. And I say that because you offered me an opportunity. And even just following you on certain platforms like your LinkedIn, I see sometimes people interact with you, and sometimes they're saying, hey, if you need a job, or hey, if you need a position, hey, I'm here. Like, that's a beautiful thing, giving back to others, man. When you know that you're helping somebody else out in this world, how does that make you feel?
Fulfilled. In one word, fulfilled. It fulfills me to help other people. And absolutely, I want to give opportunity to anybody who needs an opportunity. And that doesn't mean that we get walked over by giving those opportunities. That means finding somebody. We've had people that were felons work in this company already that nobody else would give an opportunity. And one guy specifically, be awesome to get you in touch with him. But he worked for us for a little bit, and he had something come up on the probation side. He was homeless while he was working for us, living in a homeless shelter, and he didn't have a concrete address, physical concrete address, and it violated his probation. He wound up having to go back to jail for 3 years while he was working here. Guy was on the straight and narrow, just getting his life back on track, doing awesome work for us, honest guy, just really coming to grips with what he did. He's out of jail now, and he wants to come back and work here again. So just those opportunities, and he comes back, and we'll welcome him with open arms. And there's nothing to be afraid of. People make mistakes. Everybody makes a mistake.
Thanks.
And you've got to be diligent as a leader to make sure they're not still making those mistakes and conning you through those things. But if they are genuinely want another opportunity, I want to give it to them. And that's just an extreme case. The other case is people that have no idea what they want to do with their lives. Our operations manager, who isn't here right now, is a perfect example of that. He came into our company about 5.5 years ago, no landscape experience, no idea what he wanted to do. People told him his entire life that he had learning disabilities and he was not able to do certain things. And I said, hey man, come on in, what do you want to do? He said, I want to run a skid steer. I said, all right, we'll put you in a skid steer for snow, and when it's not snowing, come into the shop and move this pile of dirt from here to here and then move it back again because we really want it over here, but just get used to the machine. And he did. And that never stopped. It started in the skid steer, and now he runs the operations for our entire company. He schedules, he manages the jobs, he manages the crews, he takes care of invoicing, he does some sales work from the upsell opportunities that are created on sites that he's managing, and the guy's just a rock star, and he's learned things. He's more adept on our operating system than I am, and people told him he had a learning disability and wasn't capable of that. I think the people that were teaching him didn't know how to teach him. It had nothing to do with his ability to learn.
Right. I like that. So when I hear people trying to label somebody a particular way or tell them they have this particular issue and it might not be them at all and they break out of it, that's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I think that's very beautiful. You said something as we were talking about the opportunity. You said, but not getting walked over. If you're in a situation whereby you're dealing with an employee or someone who's working with you and you feel like they are walking over or trying to take advantage, how do you tackle that?
Call them out. Just say, hey, I feel taken advantage of right now. What's going on? What's going on with you? Why do you feel the need for that? I value what you're doing in this area. There's no need for that. And see where it goes from there. And you got to be on your guards. And the whole thing is positive lifestyle, leadership, knowing how to get along with people and communicate with people sounds really floofy and like, oh, you're so kind, you do such good things. Absolutely, that's what we do. But we have such an emotional awareness. We have such a mental awareness of what other people around us do that we can read between the blocks. We can read between the lines of what's happening, what people are thinking about, what is causing them to do those actions because of how much we have experienced. And me personally, what I have experienced and been through, some manipulations I have done earlier in my life and things that I've gotten away from, I can read it like a book on other people. Wow. And then ask questions to get around to the backside and ask the questions to get them to see it. And at some point, they understand like, oh, man, this guy actually is seeing right through me and still trying to help me. What just happened? Why is that happening to me? And that's where the magic really begins.
Wow.
And if you have somebody that doesn't embrace that and continues to walk all over you, absolutely get forceful and remove them from, in my situation, the company. You have to remove them from the company, get them out of the way, and if it's not a trustworthy person, then they don't belong.
I like that. So if you have somebody and they're working with you and you feel like they're getting over, it doesn't have to be work, it can be friendships, whoever, let them go. Because sometimes when people think they could take advantage or use you, or play with you, they feel like you're easy to just do anyhow. And that's not the type of things we want around us. In this vicinity, I feel real good, man. A lot of jobs, when they hire people, I see that sometimes they don't really care about the well-being of their employees or people that's there. It's just like, hey, this is your position, training, this is training. All right, now this is you, go do it. But here I see more of a family oriented, everybody's into the next person's affair, like well-being in terms of being okay and fine. What would you say is the importance of making sure that you check up on people who are working for you or with you?
It's the most important piece of anything. The job comes secondary. People's well-being is first. And I offer coaching to any of our employees that we have who are going through a rough time. Had a great conversation with one this morning who has a couple of struggles, and we started talking about what we were doing and what we could do to help him both from our side and from his side, give him some exercises and things to do to focus and change the way that you're thinking and grow. It's all about having a growth mindset. We can all be better, and that never, ever ends. It's a mission for life. But all you have to do is grow 1% a day. And in a year, you grow tremendously at 1% a day. In 2 years, exponentially. In 10 years, you can't even imagine where you'd be in 10 years if you focus on your personal growth. So it's all about helping people grow and helping people become better. And not for us, not for the company, for them, for the people around them. Everything we do here, we're a team, and we do it for the other people. We don't do it for ourselves. There is nothing that we do in this company for ourselves. Every decision I make is for the rest of the team. Every decision our team makes is for their team members. The field guys are doing things for their team members that they work with in the field every day. The office guys all have each other's back, and we are all one unit. There is not somebody that's better or worse than the other, from the newest guy all the way up to the CEO. We all have equal job functions. They're drastically different functions, but equal piece of the pie to make this work.
I like that. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, my man. I want to ask you another question because I kind of feel like you're nailing it, and I kind of feel like this is just too easy for you, man. All right, my next question to you is: being a leader, someone who runs his own business and has a company that's called Inspire You, inspiring other people, giving them motivation. Where do you yourself draw inspiration from as a person?
We are the hardest people we have to lead, so it definitely doesn't come from me. I have a lifestyle based on routines, based on reading information, based on waking up in the morning. And when I wake up in the morning and say a prayer, spirituality is a big part of my life. I focus on my mental health. I just focus on my physical health. Mental, physical, and emotional are a trifecta. They're all completely separate, but all rely on each other. So having good workouts. I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I go out for hikes. I get out in the woods, get out in nature to clear my mind and think about good things. And clearing your mind doesn't mean aimlessly not thinking about anything. Clearing your mind means getting your subconscious busy doing something like hiking, so the front of your mind can think about things without the clutter of the background noise. And from there, in the morning, after I say my prayers, I get out of bed, I make my bed. I get on the floor, do 30 push-ups. I go brush my teeth. I go downstairs, I sit down, and I meditate on picturing my day going flawlessly. Every single thing in my day goes perfectly in my head in the morning. And picturing it that way eliminates the fears, eliminates the anxieties, eliminates the things that get in our way, because we picture it going well. And most of the time it goes well. And when it doesn't go well, we already pictured it going well, so we're halfway to a solution and ready to pick up those pieces at that point.
I like that, man. You sound like a pretty hardworking person, man. The camera's missing you.
Oh,
you sound like a pretty hardworking person. What is the importance of hard work?
Hard work, you got to enjoy what you're doing. That's, hard work and working hard are 2 different things. Make sure you're doing the right work. Make sure you're doing something that fulfills you. We all have a path. We all have a destiny. We all have a function to do here. Find it. If you're not getting fulfillment, if you're not getting happiness, is it something inside of you that has to change, or is it something external that has to change? And make sure you're doing the right things. For me, I quote unquote work probably 70 to 80 hours a week from what most people would consider. I don't consider myself working at all, though, because I love everything that I'm doing. When I'm here, when I'm at the landscape company, I'm leading our people. I'm motivating our people. I'm helping them problem solve. I'm helping them get confidence up to get over things. When I'm working through Inspire You, I'm helping other people. I'm coaching clients. I am traveling around the nation doing public speaking and keynote speeches on leadership and personal growth. And that is so fulfilling to me that it's not hard work. It's just the work I'm meant to do.
Wow. So it's pretty much like become a part of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that spreads to my family. I have 3 kids, beautiful wife, and that's how we live at our house too. And they're the hardest ones to be positive with. They're the hardest ones to carry all this stuff home with, because I do this all day long, and sometimes I'm exhausted when I get home, and I'll snap at the kids, and it's like, whoa, hang on, these are the last people I want to do that with. So that right there, having the family and having those reactions to the kids and having the self-awareness to see when it happens, to be like, oh, I need to step back and really look at what I'm doing and revisit this. That helps me grow too. That helps me understand more about myself.
I like that, man. I think that's pretty important. I think sometimes when people work or they are chasing something or they're doing certain things, that balance with the family, it's definitely key, because like you said, those are the people you're going back home to. They're looking up to you as the head of the home and stuff like that. So if you come back with a bad vibe or you're upset, and it rubs off on them, it can affect everybody in the home.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that's kind of difficult to balance, man.
Yeah. It's not balance. I don't like the term balance with this. It's all harmony. We got to have harmony, because balance is you're one way or the other, you get to the middle and instantly going another way. Harmony is having everything mesh. And I could go on a whole other tangent about the work-life balance and how I don't agree with work-life balance, but we'll leave that for another time, man. It's harmony. We live one life, make it harmonious, and make sure everything meshes together and accents each other rather than having pieces fighting and going head-to-head with each other.
I like that, man. I kind of believe everything you're saying because even here I feel the harmony, and I feel like that's something that you take everywhere, not just at home, not just where you work, anywhere you go. Let that be a part of you. As a dreamer, what would you say was one of the most difficult things you had to encounter along your journey?
Myself.
Yeah.
Getting past myself, man. That I was the hardest hurdle I had to get over. I was in my way for so long. I had certain demons that I was battling with. I had already talked on my substance abuse a little bit, and I was in my own way. And one of the hardest things with that was this never stopped running. So I was looking for things to suppress my mind, stop thinking about things. And I've gotten to a point now that I'm like, why the hell would I ever want to turn this off? This is my most valuable asset. So it was really hard to get there and understand that, overthinking. And before I did a lot of the personal growth, before I understood the way my head worked, just getting inside of there and thinking other people are judging me for certain things and thinking other people are going to think this. And I'm like, why do I care about what other people think? And, that's a double-edged sword. I like that statement and I don't, because you should have a self-image that you want to preserve, but you shouldn't let what other people think about you hold you back. Do what you want. Do what lights you up. Do what puts you on fire. Go, man, regardless what other people think. And that held me back because I did a lot of things, made a lot of decisions based on what other people would think about me. And getting over that and getting past that, that's probably single-handedly the hardest thing I had to do. The other part to that is I had to learn that other people don't think the way I think. That was really hard. I always thought like, oh man, I'm thinking this person's got to be thinking this too. And that wasn't the case. And sometimes those were sick thoughts. Other times those were innovative thoughts. Other times those were entrepreneurial thoughts. Other times those were just neutral thoughts. But not many people think the way I do. And I have learned that over the years. And that's really some of the bigger hurdles that I had to get over to understand where I am today.
Wow, man, I respect that. First of all, I want to say I'm happy you were able to overcome that, man. That's a testimony in its own. What would you tell somebody who's probably dealing with alcoholism, or probably feels like, oh man, I don't have a way out, or how can I do it, knowing that you were once there and you overcame it? What would you tell them?
If I can do it, anybody can do it. That's what I'll tell you. There's no shame. The biggest thing, especially in substance abuse, my substance was alcohol, but I mean, we have heroin, we have fentanyl, we have some really nasty stuff that's really hard to get over. It's all the same. The biggest message I can give you there is that's not your problem. That's your solution. The problem is deep rooted, and we choose to use those solutions to make us feel better. One day, we get to the point that we wake up and realize we don't feel better anymore, and we need more and more and more of it to continue to feel better. If you're there, reach out, talk to somebody. There's no shame. There are millions of people out there just like me, just like you, just that understand exactly what you're going through and have been in your shoes. I was literally locking myself in a closet to drink alcohol at the very end of my run because I didn't want people to see it. And that was where I was. I was bad. And I have grown so much since then. It's possible. Reach out to me directly. I'm sure D-Man will tag me in the bottom here. Reach out to me directly. I'm happy to talk to you and tell you what I went through. Just share my story with you and give you some words of encouragement.
I love that, man. You said something else, man. You said that you got over, listening to what people thought about you or what they cared. And I love that, man. And trying to please people, that's a beautiful thing. If you live to please people, you will die an actor. Don't live to please nobody. Always be yourself, because when you're yourself, you might find out what you possess inside you might be the things that people might need or might want to follow or might want to, make a part of their life. I love that, man. Before we wrap this up, bro, is there anything that you just want to just say, anything positive you might want to say to the people? It could be anything from your heart.
Chase your dreams. If you can envision it, you can do it. Chase everything. If you tell yourself you can, you're right. If you tell yourself you can't, you're right. Henry Ford said that. And there is nothing that is more true than that. Tell yourself you can. And you have something you want to do. You have something you want to accomplish it. Go out and do it. It doesn't happen overnight. There is no such thing as perfection. You're going to make mistake after mistake after mistake. And every time you make a mistake, you're that much closer to having the success. So just keep after it and keep doing it.
I love that, man. Before we wrap up, man, can we say a big yeah after 3 counts?
Yeah.
You ready?
Oh, yeah. 1,
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah,
That was great.
that was awesome. That was awesome.